Hello ladies, this is Stella from Junk Journal Pen Pals group in London, and I'm here to show you my Halloween journal, which I have 99.9% finished. It was a bit of a rush this year because I didn't have too much ephemera and the shops were very slow in getting their Halloween stuff in, but finally, with people's help and cooperation from the shops, in the end I managed to get enough stuff to put it together. So I have finished it well enough now, and I'm happy to show it to you because tomorrow is Halloween, and after that we'll all be on to something else, won't we? So here is the journal. This is the cover. I got the bat from the Graphics Fairy website, which gives out a lot of free graphics that you can use. And then I use a program called PhotoPad Image Editor to make the pictures the size that I want them. These hands, which I think are very good, are hair slides, that's all. So they sit on the side, and there's two of those which I'll take off now. The cover itself is faux leather, which started life as a skirt, and I've covered the journal with it. I've used the zip at the back as a pocket for a vampire to keep his spare set of false teeth in, or whatever else he wants to put in there. I've covered the corners as a bit of protection with these very handy little corner pieces. All you need to put those in is a small pair of pliers. And once I turn it over, I've secured the frontispiece with some black duct tape, which I've decorated here with some silver ribbon. This page I did with a jelly plate using three colours, orange, green and purple. And when it was dry, I painted it with Mod Podge to give it a shiny feel. And I used this die cut. The spider came with the web, and I made some of those. And the spider here is trying to get to his web. This page, I've got a big tag which is coming undone, and I did this just as a case of collage. So I started off with an A4 sheet of paper, and I covered it with lots of different little pieces of Halloween type paper and stuck it on with glue and then Mod Podged it. And when it was dry, I then used my bubble wrap glove to pat some white spots on, and I'm pleased with the result. I love the colours together. I think that looks really neat and makes a nice bookmark or a tag. And although it's a Halloween journal, I've used some quotes from the Twilight story. About three things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. And of course Stephenie Meyer wrote the book. Here I've got a stamp, pumpkin stamp with a witch's hat on. I can't pan out any more than I have. I spent 10 minutes trying to get this journal in focus without a shadow on it tonight. It's 7 o'clock in the evening here, and it's really hard to get it without a shadow. But this is the best I could do, so I'm sorry. I just have to move the book around a bit. Here I've got a quote from the Dracula novel by Bram Stoker. I am longing to be with you and by the sea, where we can talk together freely and build our castles in the air. Here is another page I've made with the jelly plate. And this is an envelope from a kit that I had, a Twilight kit. There's the monster. And on the back we've got Bella. And there's nothing in it at the moment. It can be used. Put things in. This page I tea dyed with some tea and also with some green Dylon. I used the darker green and I'm happy with the way that came out. This beautiful lace I got from the local haberdashery shop, which is closing at Christmas, so I'm very, very sorry about that, because it was the only one in my Arndale centre that did all the things that I wanted. Fortunately we have got a new Hobbycraft store opening, but it is right the other end of my town and it takes, you know, a whole journey to get there. So I'm looking out for some bargains between now and Christmas from this shop. Here's another large tag, and this time I've used the collage paper that I did, and I've put one of the tie-dye spider's webs on. You can write on the back. Here's another quote from Twilight. When life offers you a dream so far beyond any of your expectations, it's not reasonable to grieve when it comes to an end. This page, I've got a couple of the tags that I made recently. In this double pocket. And here's a little one of my tiny envelopes. And here's another quote from the Twilight. Even more, I had never meant to love him. One thing I truly knew it in the pit of my stomach, in the centre of my bones, knew it from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet, knew it deep in my empty chest, was how love gave someone the power to break you. Here's an envelope with the bat. A skeleton on the back. Here's another smaller page with one of my tags on. And this is a tiny envelope. Here's another page that I made and another envelope. And this page is Bella and Edward and the coffin. And if you are careful, you can remove this picture of Edward comes out of the coffin and back in again. And he stands out. Another little envelope and a big pocket at the side with a tag that you can decorate yourself. Or I might later on. There's a side pocket there and another tag. Says Blessed Be. And there's a journal card also from the same collage paper that I did, a witch's hat on. And another quote from Twilight. Twilight again, another ending. No matter how perfect the day is, it always has to end. And of course, as we know, when the day ends, that's when the vampires come out to play. Another quote there, and a little booklet here. Right on. There's a picture of Bella as a pocket. Another page, spooky page. I think I've turned over two. This one opens out, so you've got plenty of writing space. Here we've got Spooky Pumpkin. Here's a quote from Bram Stoker again. There are darknesses in life and there are lights, and you are one of the lights, the light of all lights. It's a paper clip that I've decorated. And some washi tape down the side. And that's the end of the first signature. There's a pocket there with an envelope in it. Put things in. Another big tag. And this page, that's another collage page. This time I've used it as a page. And this one opens out. There's Edward again as a journal card. And this time I've made a green spider's web. The spider's got a jewel in it. Oh, this, that was a napkin that I've stuck onto the page. There's the beast in the forest. Looks like he's clawed somebody, made them bleed. There's a little tuck spot with Edward on it. And there's Bella again. There's the pocket. Here's the Forbidden Forest and the Spooky Castle. And this is a little story that I wrote called The Silver Cane. It's an introduction to a vampire novel. So I'll read it to you as far as I've got with it. Looking back through the years, a thread of time dangled from a needle of doubt as I began to remember. The first time I saw him, or felt his presence to be more precise, was on one of those evenings when it was too hot to sleep. Nightmares sought to wrap themselves around my sleeping form like a suffocating blanket of grey mist from which there is no escape. Lifting my head, I could just make out through my window a pale, ghostly moon above the trees that surrounded the lake. It was not yet full, but the lake, bathed in moonlight, was more visible for the shining of its silvery beams. Shaking off the clammy sheets, I made my way to the bathroom, where I relieved myself of discomfort and washed my hands in the cool water which flowed from antique taps. I gazed into the mirror just as a shadowy shape slipped by behind me. I saw the glint of the top of a silver walking cane as the shadow went out of my view. My skin began to shiver. Was it fear or an awakening of some sort? I could not be sure. I turned around, but there was no one there. No sound to indicate the presence of another being. And yet, Morgana, my little calico cat, was waiting for me on the bed as I returned to the four-poster. The large bed was left to me by a favourite aunt when she died. I had always admired it, and she was kind enough to tell me that one day it would be mine. The little cat showed no sign of fear or disturbance, but as I stroked her soft fur, I noticed a second form on the eiderdown, this one much larger than a cat's. It looked as if a larger being had taken rest on top of the feathered eiderdown. Also, there was a slight aroma which filled the air. A scent of the forest would describe it adequately. Feeling uneasy, I walked the 3 steps to the window and looked down towards the lake. Fireflies were darting in the bushes. Were fairies lighting the way? Many years have passed since that mysterious night. There have been nights when the fireflies were as bright as electric sparks, and nights as dark that my blood ran cold and my skin grew icy and almost translucent. There is a certain stillness in the night sometimes that compels me to follow the path down to the lake, to open my senses to the smell of the forest, and to train my eyes to watch for a silver glint and a shadowy tall shape. My ears are keen for the rustle of a leaf or the snap of a twig, and my heart quickens pace when I hear it. These are the nights when the nightmares come. I feel the terror of being awake and yet asleep. These are the threads of doubt which dangle from the needle of time as it stabs my heart, and I remember. Is it the ancient 4-poster bed that keeps me from slumber, or the knowledge that I will never see the reflection of my own face as I gaze long and hard into my mirror and attempt to clean these long, sharp teeth? The silver-handled cane stands in the corner of my bedroom these days. It stands as a testament to my one true love, and sometimes, when the moon is almost full, I think I see it sway. Never again will I follow it down to the lake, watching the fireflies, while the cicadas sing their accusing song. The dark stain on the carpet will see to that. And here are a couple of little charms. I didn't have very many charms. It's a pumpkin and a cross. There's the castle again. And here's another tag and a picture of Edward and Bella, the lovers. And there's some special vampiric writing. Quite a few of these pages have got slots in the top. And here's a tag with a cat on it. Love her little eyes. And This is the last quote from Twilight. I tried to concentrate on the angel's voice instead. Bella, please. Bella, listen to me, please, 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 Bella, please, he begged. Yes, I wanted to say anything, but I couldn't find my lips. Carlyle, the angel called, agony in his perfect voice. Bella, Bella. No, oh please, no, no. And the angel was sobbing, tearless, broken sobs. The angel shouldn't weep, it was wrong. I tried to find him, to tell him everything was fine, but the water was so deep, it was pressing on me and I couldn't breathe. And that's another of the paper clips I've decorated, and the last journal tag. So I hope you've enjoyed my flip through, and I hope you've enjoyed looking at my ideas such as they are, and I hope to see you again in the next video. If you've enjoyed my video, please give it a like. I'd love you to leave a comment, tell me what you liked or what you didn't like. And if you want to see any more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button. See you next time.